Ah, but we happen to have right here a sample of Andraste's Grace. So now we will give it to her.
Flowers? Thank you. They're very pretty.
Smell them.
These were her favorite. I haven't seen these in such a long time. They smell just like Mother used to. Thank you. Thank you so much for remembering.
Fortunately for us, we didn't have to remember it for too long. But of course, you know, if you play the game in a different order, then perhaps that statement would have carried a little bit more weight. Do you miss anything about Orlais?
I miss Val Royeaux. Unlike other cities where the people are the lifeblood and the character, Val Royeaux was her own person, and her people little more than decorations. There was always music in Val Royeaux, streaming from the many windows, quiet refrains and triumphant choruses, and always, floating above that all, the chant, coming from the grand cathedral. It was magnificent.
I've never been to Orlais myself.
If you get the chance, you should see it, at least Val Royeaux. Of course there are good things and bad things about Orlais, like anywhere else. Sometimes I miss it dearly, and sometimes I'm glad I'm rid of it. And you will laugh at this, but I miss the fine things I had in Orlais.
What sort of things?
Dresses, fine dresses and furs, and shoes, of course. One can't mingle with nobility with bad shoes, you see. Orlais is very fashionable, almost ridiculously so. But the shoes! Living with those ridiculous trends was worth it for the shoes.
Oh, I love shoes! No, I'm not going to say that. So what's so special about shoes?
Well, they're shoes. They're pretty. Some of them anyway. When I left Orlais, the fashion was shoes with delicate tapered heels and embellishments in the front. A ribbon, perhaps, or embroidery. In soft colors, of course. It was spring.
Wouldn't that be hard to walk in?
I wouldn't want to run in it, or have to enter battle, but for lounging in a lady's sitting room, perfect. The shoes made in Orlais were exquisite. Not at all like these clunky fur-lined leather boots you have in Ferelden. Ugh, just look at them.
You don't need fancy shoes to make you look beautiful.
Thank you. It's kind of you to say so, even wearing these mud-covered horrors. They're sturdy shoes, but sometimes a girl just wants to have pretty feet. Oh, I could talk about shoes all day, but we have things to do, don't we?
She has a slight obsession. So, rumor in the Circle Tower was that in Orlais, minstrels are often spies.
Where did you hear this?
Or who did I hear it from? I think I read it in a history book.
And did you not think that this could be historical fact and no longer true? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers, but some of them are what we call bards.
And the bards are the spies.
Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
Patron? What sort of patron?
Nobles, mostly. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the Empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
You You were a bard, weren't you?
I have revealed too much, it seems, but it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
But why were you living cloistered sister in rural Ferelden?
I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry, and when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to say the Maker brought me here.
More of a story behind that, I'm sure.
Something I can help with?
And so, from Liliana, you can learn the specialization of a bard. Can you teach me to be a bard?
I don't think you have the correct aptitude. I could give you some pointers, though. You may be able to pass them on to someone you know. Let's just go over there, away from the others, for safety, yes? I expect there shall be daggers flying about willy-nilly for a time.
That sounds awesome. So that's how you unlock the specialization for the bard, which is only available for rogue class characters. So not for us, but perhaps for your character. Okay, last but not least. Sten, do you have anything to say?
Yes.
So what were you doing in that cage?
Sitting, as you observed.
Very funny.
Thank you.
So, are you going to answer my question?
I did. Parshera, was there anything else?
Oh, Sten. I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to Ferelden?
To answer a question.
What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Don't you have to report back then?
Yes.
When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
Why not?
It doesn't matter now. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting.
I want to discuss something you mentioned previously.
Speak then.
So here, in this section of the dialogue, if you have Sten in your party, he will make comments based on where you are and what kind of things happen to the party while he's present. And if you hear those comments from him and check back at camp, he will have options here for stuff that he's said while out in the field. But we don't have any at the moment, so that's enough for now.
Then I suggest we move on.
Fine, let's go.
As you wish.
Okay, so we have talked with all the party members, and so it's off for our next quest. Now, normally I would probably ask you guys to vote on where to go for the next quest, but during the previous vote, when the winner ended up being the elves, some late votes came in, and all of the late votes were for Orzammar. So, rather than asking for another vote, I will simply act on that and go to the Kingdom of the Dwarves for the next major part of the story. Before we go there, though, I'll just be making one brief stop at a side quest, because it'll give us another companion whose personal arc has everything to do with the Kingdom of the Dwarves. So I want to make sure that we pick up that companion before we go to Orzammar. So a quick stop off to pick up a new companion, and then we will continue on to Orzammar and ask the dwarves for help. So until next time, this is Vexus.